So Jeremy, Poets and Quants has named you and your firm the best in the business. 3 years running, in fact, the only firm ever named the best MBA admissions consulting firm on the planet. What's behind the success?
Well, John, we take a lot of pride in the fact that we are the only firm to have been named Firm of the Year by Poets and Quants. And I think it really has to do with enormous differences in the way that our firm is set up relative to other firms in the industry. I think that if we would ask prospective clients to dig in and really understand the differences in service delivery and model, because the differences are vast. The number one difference that I would say is most of the firms in this space are part-time firms. And I often say to applicants who let's say they aspire to go to McKinsey when they graduate, and I say, okay, McKinsey has 10,000 consultants. Imagine full-time consultants. Imagine if they switched to a model where they had 40,000 part-time consultants. They wouldn't be the dominant consulting firm that they are.
No.
And admissions consulting is no different. So most firms in this space use part-time individuals who are committed to another job, okay?
Right.
And when push comes to shove, they will be committed to that other job instead of to the client. At our firm, we have professionals. This is what they do. This is all they do all the time. They eat, sleep, and breathe MBA admissions, and they live their clients' outcomes because it's not a hobby, it's a professional calling. And I think that's a huge top layer differentiator, and a lot flows down from that. But I think that on top of that, everyone at our firm is an MBA from a top program. And that is a difference between us and a lot of firms as well. Different firms use totally different models.
Yeah.
We are not MBAs. We are admissions officers, et cetera. The individual at our firm, you have to to get into a top program, you have to have the highest expectations of yourself and push yourself to get into those programs. You take that combination of professional calling and enormous expectations for yourself, and you put that together, and it yields a service that just delivers for clients. And so it's not just that as a firm we've succeeded, but also we've dominated the individual accolades in Consultant of the Year. Virtually every single member of our team, and many have won multiple times, have won the Consultant of the Year.
That's true.
So I think that's only the beginning layer, and you can see I'm excited about it because I'm passionate about our firm. But I do believe that there's a lot more.
The other thing, when I think about your firm, I think about it as actually less of an MBA admissions consulting firm and more as a professional service firm. Is that the correct assumption?
Yeah, I think that's fair, and I appreciate that a lot. We want people's experience when they sort of enter into our world to feel like they are working with, a top consulting firm like a McKinsey, a Bain, a BCG, a top law firm, a firm that is delivering at the highest expectations. And I think that pervades our firm, because I've talked a lot about our consultants, but our front office staff is absolutely remarkable. And our creative team that's developing the guides, our YouTube channel, all the research that we put out there for our insiders guides, for our career guides, for the complete start to finish guide that I wrote, our Harvard Business School, Stanford Business School essay guide that we put together with Poets and Quants. The level of professionalism that goes into everything at our firm, not just the direct client delivery, but also all of the world of resources that is around our clients, is incredibly important to us. And I think, again, you can't find those resources anywhere, and they're designed around our clients because that's what our clients need. Most firms are designed around their success, and our firm is designed around our clients' success. And I hope that people can feel that when they, just on a click of the website, I hope that they can feel that.
The other part of being a professional services firm, obviously, is preparing, training, developing people to be true professionals, right? Right. And I wonder what do you do in that regard?
I think this is something we just do very differently. So there are firms out there where you went to Wharton, you're a Wharton consultant. Congratulations, you start Monday. Okay, that isn't mbaMission. And mbaMission, we have a 5-person hiring team. They all interview a prospective hire. They all have to agree.
It has to be unanimous.
It has to be unanimous.
All 5. Okay.
Yeah. disposition, demeanor for dealing with clients, the right kind of focus for dealing with clients, the way the expectations of themselves that we want them to have when dealing with our clients. After that, there are a variety of writing and editing exercises that they have to do and that are checked by members of our team, and we are absolutely.
So you're testing them.
Yeah, there's a series of tests, but you can't just say I was an admissions director at Cornell 8 years ago, and now I'm your consultant. That doesn't mean anything. You might not have the skills. After that, there's actually a 3-month curriculum followed by a capstone exercise and a year of mentorship that often becomes 2 years of mentorship just because it's helpful. And after the capstone exercise, that's when a consultant is mentored into taking their first client. And that's just on the way in. Everyone at our firm is consistently training. We have a Tuesday meeting at our firm. Everyone knows each other. Everyone can call on each other for a second opinion. So I still take a few clients. I'm certainly not reluctant to say that I very happily call on members of our team all the time for a second opinion, because that's what it means to be excellent at something. It means that you rely on other excellent people. And then we have our annual conference every year. Last during COVID, we couldn't have it, but we're looking forward to the next one. And we all get together and train together all the time. And we spend, days together, really honing our craft. And so the net result of it is a team that through meetings, conferences, a huge commitment to training, commitment to supporting each other, you get the benefit of the entire firm behind you with your and in addition to that, the resources that I referenced. So it's just, I would challenge anyone who's watching this at this point to really scratch the surface with other firms and ask what they're getting at this level, because I think it's totally different, and I think it's led us to the results that we have, which we take a lot of pride in.
So bring us into a weekly meeting. What happens?
Okay, great.
Among all your consultants.
Yeah.
You get them in on a Zoom call, right? Or
we get together on a Zoom call. We always start with good news and shout outs. We start with individual good news, maybe from the client world. Maybe someone got into Harvard or Stanford and we can celebrate it together. Maybe it's just something that's happened that's nice in someone's life. Shout outs again, that maybe you assisted me on a client file and I want to acknowledge you. But again, it speaks to the community that we have and the way we interact with each other that is truly a firm. It's not just a bunch of disparate people who plug in for a client here or there. And after that, we might talk about industry trends. We might talk about a type of client a client anxiety that we're seeing, a change in an essay, a change in an application expectation. We've had many guest speakers from different schools who've come on, admissions directors who've come on from different schools and just shared with us what's going on at their program. We've had Michigan on, we've had Cambridge on, we've had all sorts of other programs on over the years. We have troubleshot a variety of different issues or thought about resources we want to develop for our firm. So it really goes on, and it's almost like a little reunion every week for us to just touch base and find out what's going on in each other's lives and at work.
And you're reinforcing the community.
Absolutely, yeah. Our community is a huge
and the
advantage.
culture.
Yeah, culture and values are a huge advantage for us. We feel like the expectations are very, very clear. They're unwritten, and I don't know if I could actually pinpoint them, but there's just an extremely high level of communal expectation at our firm that we're all going to deliver everything we can for every single client, and that's a big deal.
Now, you founded mbaMission 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have the same passion and enthusiasm that you're showing today back then?
I did, but it was channeled in a different way. So I'm willing to humbly admit that I never even expected to get beyond myself. I didn't know what to expect. I think that I went in just hoping that I wouldn't have to to work for anyone else again in my life. I just wanted to be an independent entrepreneur. Immediately, once I realized that this had legs and the market was telling me that we needed to be a bigger firm, I started trying to hire people who I thought were better than me, and many of them are still here. Jessica Schlar is a fantastic consultant. She's been here. This must be her 15th year. She was one of the first people I hired.
She's a total superstar.
Yeah, she's a total superstar. Has been on the Poets&Quants list for many years. But my passion for this initially went into every single client success and directly one-to-one, and I can't work with that same number of clients anymore. But there was one moment where I realized that we were going to make it, and I'll share it with you because I think it's relevant to why we're a great firm. We don't work this way anymore, but I needed the client, and a client said to me, because we were effectively a new kind of service out there at the time.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a little skeptical. I don't know if I want to work with you. And I said to him, I need the client, and what I'm going to do for you is I am going to work with you for 2 weeks for free, and at that point, you can pay me or not, and there'll be no hard feelings. And he said, okay. And we worked on 3 schools over, started our work on 3 schools, and I poured everything I could into him. I wanted to show him that I needed that I was going to win him over. And at the 2-week mark, he continued on, and he got into all 3 of his schools. He applied to Tuck, Cornell, and Duke. He was an international applicant with the low GMAT. He got into all those schools. He ended up going to Tuck. And at the end of our engagement together, and we're still friends to this day, at the end of our engagement together, he said, I'm going to refer all of my friends to you. And I said to him, I don't know what to say. Thank you so much. And he said to me, I'm not doing that for you. I'm not doing that as a favor to you. He said, I'm doing that for them. They need to work with you. And I thought to myself, that's the level that you need to get to to become a professional services firm. You need people who feel passionately about referring you because they know that their cohort needs you and not as a favor. And that stuck with me to this day. It's 20 years, it's still with me.
And that explains a lot.
I think so. I think our entire firm feels that way. And we're not plug in, plug out like other firms. I think I shared an anecdote with you once about how I was on a chairlift. I love skiing. I was on a chairlift and I met someone on the chairlift who coincidentally was in the industry, and we were just chit-chatting, and he said, yeah, I'm going to work with, I haven't worked with a few clients. I haven't worked with clients for a couple of years, but my kids have grown up a little bit. I'm going to work with 2 or 3 clients this year, and I'm hoping to work with a few more next year. And I didn't say anything, but I thought to myself, this is not a recipe for success. Someone who's going to plug in for 3 clients for a season and 2 or 3 more the year after, that's not someone who is going to deliver with their heart and soul and get them to the point where this individual must refer them to their friends, because that person has other interests and a lot of other stuff going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on 3 years in a row, the only firm to be named #1 on the planet for MBA admissions consulting. I think I understand why.
All I can say is we're definitely hoping for 4 and 5 and 6. Those are our expectations. We have the highest expectations for ourselves. Thanks for the chat, John.
It's a pleasure.